children are watching you, and do show your children that they are worth it by you showing yourself that you are worth it.
Hello and welcome to the Stroke It podcast. I'm Jenny Townsend, your host. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited for you to be inspired to live your life fully, to take ownership of your time, your schedule, and your life, but most importantly, learn and grow and develop personally and professionally. Myself and others are going to share life lessons that we've learned through leadership, through heartache, through pain, through struggles, and we'll be sharing some success stories with you as well. Super eager for you to dive in, learn, and grow. And once again, just take ownership of your life today. Hi, Jenny Townsend here with the Stroke It podcast. I'm super excited to have Jessica as my guest today. We are going to be talking about you. So it's all about you when it comes to stroking. That's priority. We need you to be happy so you can be happy for others and stroke them in a nice way, not in a manipulative way, or that's not truthful. Everyone's always like, stroke it. It's like, yeah. Aren't you just like lying or brown nosing? I'm like, no, like honest, authentic, honest stroking is really, really important. So we are here in Jessica's home studio as well, where she is really dazzling everybody. She dazzles me up. So I'm super excited for her to talk to you about confidence and really creating the life that you want based on you. So anyways, Jessica, tell us a little bit about you.
So I have owned my company, Customized Styling by Jessica, for I'm in my 4th year, which I can't even believe. But I was in retail for many years and helped thousands and thousands of women, and realized in my early 40s, just had turned 40, that there's something more for me. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I had impacted so many women's lives, and I thought, there's something bigger. What is it? And I really put myself there, imagined it, and what that looked like. And I have just built this. It's just been such a wild ride of working with women, initially just in their homes, and helping them to, weed out what's no longer serving them in their current, lifestyle, and really helping them to get to that next step, because I work with so many women that just really, don't feel good in their own skin. And, because I'm there with them in that very vulnerable place where they're having to look in the mirror, they're trying clothes on, and their eyes are going right to that part of their body they don't like. And so even those women that you see out there, right, at the luncheon, that's in this high level position, we're not unique as women. I mean, as much as we have our little, our bit of uniqueness, right? How we feel and our confidence really is tied up in how we perceive ourselves to look. So how we show up, right, is everything.
Right. Yeah, we are very hard on ourselves as well. I know there's a lot of times where I say bad things about myself, like to myself or in the mirror, and then, or I'll say something like off the cusp in front of my husband. My husband will be like, "That is not true. Like, you look beautiful. You look great. Those pants look good on you." And I'm like, "Thank you, honey. You're probably just telling me that to be nice." He's like, no, I really mean that too. And us accepting what people say and knowing that they are being honest. Obviously, like, there's a lot of times that you cannot give a compliment to someone, or you could give a compliment. So like, someone's going to give you a compliment, accept it, and know that they are being authentic and honest, and believe it, which is hard for us to believe sometimes because we're so stuck in our own head. Which is hard.
I truly believe that, and I'm sure you've heard people say this before. It's like, you just said it, and so many people do this. Like, you get the compliment, and then you go, "Oh yeah, but really, I'm not looking that good," or you discount it, right? Totally. And instead of just taking a moment and catching yourself with that negative self-talk and saying thank you, taking a moment, maybe you close your eyes and you let it soak all in, right? And then as you do that more and more, the first couple times, it feels very uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
But once you start doing it, you just start going there and believing it.
Right, which is super, super important.
So. And my in my philosophy, as far as, how women show up for themselves, as far as how they dress, it really is what I teach them to do is how to highlight and not hide. Right. And So I was just saying about woman looking in the mirror, right? And you just did it when you got to the studio today. Oh, my tummy area, because that was what you didn't like, right? And so the focus, you go right there. And then what does a woman do when there's something they don't like? They cover it up.
Hide it, right?
And when you cover it up and you're shameful about it, know it's there, but you don't want to show it, it manifests itself into this very bad self-talk.
Right.
And you're not able to feel beautiful or show up as your truest, most authentic self and be successful because you're body shaming yourself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We are all guilty of that,
Yes.
unfortunately. Well, I'm glad that you're here and I'm glad that you can help all of us feel beautiful. And I know that the confidence is huge. I mean, I just basically what you put on me too, which I absolutely love. And having that conversation too, where like, hey, this is how you want to, what'd you say, change your mindset and highlight versus hide. So I think that's really, really important because at the same time, we don't think that when we're getting dressed. And so we're going to talk a little bit about getting dressed and basically dressing the part. And as you said, show up and put on the outfit. So, okay. So the podcast, we cater to different ages. Like really the podcast is catering to those that are, newly married, because I think there's a lot of great value in understanding the basics and fundamentals of marriage. And a lot of marriages fail within those first 7 to 10 years. And then at year 20, they seem to be failing after all the kids have moved out.
Right.
So we're talking about that. And then we're talking about people that are just entering the corporate world. They're just getting their first job maybe, or maybe they got a promotion and it's about dressing the part and taking on those roles and those responsibilities and having that sense of presence of that position that they got.
Right.
And then we're also catering to people that are going through like a midlife crisis, like maybe they're at the 20-year marriage point. Or maybe they just lost their job. Maybe they lost all their money. Maybe they just are going through a lot of different changes. So we really want to help everybody and give them some great advice and tips and all that stuff. And obviously depending on the stage. What stage would you say that you're in right now?
Well, I have a son that just went off to college. I can't even believe I'm saying that. So I'm 46.
Okay.
I'm okay saying that.
Okay, good.
So my husband and I just moved into this nice home that we have taken. We've worked so hard to get to where we are today. We have one son in high school, one that's in his first year of college.
Okay.
We both are entrepreneurs. And at that stage in our lives where we're still, we want to keep elevating, we want to take it to the next step.
Right.
And I think you had mentioned balance when we talked on the phone. So that's a very, tricky thing when you're still at that point in your life, like we're still hustling, we're still working towards, that end goal of having more freedoms and that type of thing.
Right.
And really it's about, when we're not both working in our careers, and my husband is part of CSJ as well.
Okay.
We want to spend quality time together. So we really, as much as we want to be free and, this and that, we have to make those plans.
And create that time and create that structure where you are having that time together. It's super, super important, especially for marriage. And if you are entrepreneurs and you're both going a million different areas and ways, and then you have kids on top of it, it gets really challenging. My husband and I, there's just the two of us. We don't even have a dog. I had a fish that just recently passed away. And we have to create time for ourselves, and we don't even have all the distractions or all the responsibilities. So, well, that's great. So you guys are doing super well.
And we're at that stage. We're doing it.
I love it. I love it. I know we're going to talk a little bit about like how you guys got here as well.
Yes.
So, I think it's important when we're talking about stroking individuals, love languages. And there's love languages in your personal and in your professional lives. And obviously some of them should not cross.
Right.
Stay away from personal touch when it comes to your personal or your professional life. So anyways, and I think when you are, validating people and you're wanting to make people feel a certain way, I think it's really important to understand love languages. And when my husband and I were separated, he read the book, The Love Languages, and then he bought that book for me. And then I read it, and it was very, very educational, and it really helped with both of us because for years, I didn't understand my husband's love language. I was out, I was making smoothies for him, I was packing his lunch on this, and he was in the gym working out, and that whole entire time he wished I would have been in the gym working out with him. He didn't care about the lunches and all the stuff. So I think understanding love languages is really, really important if you want to cater to people and show them and all that. So you had indicated that your love language was acts of service.
Yes.
Okay. So does your husband, do other people understand that that's your love language?
Oh, my husband totally understands it.
Okay.
I married the man that like has that down.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. And what's
Yeah.
his love language?
His would be give me my options again. Touch
Yes.
is touch one of them.
Yes. Okay.
It's
And quality time.
touch and time. That's
Okay.
my husband.
Perfect. Yeah. Actually, a lot of men are that. And a lot of men that are the personal touch that I'm talking to, it's not all sex. It's like snuggle time.
Oh, it
like
is.
holding them, like giving them some love and giving them the affection. Like it's not really all about sex, which everyone thinks, oh, your husband's personal touch. I'm like telling you, my husband just wants to snuggle. Like I have snuggle time on my calendar in the morning because I have to make sure I snuggle with my husband.
Yeah, we have ours is nightly routine because I go to bed late and he goes to bed early. I get up later than him. So, but at night he goes to sleep or goes to bed early, but he never quite fully falls asleep until I come in and I have to stroke his back.
Yes.
I think he's still young. I have to touch his hair.
Yeah. You have to stroke it.
I do literally. Yes.
So
and because I'm so glad you're
right, exactly. That's how I am with my husband as well. So with the acts of service, since that is your love language, do you find that you do a lot of acts of service for other people since that's your love language? Okay. Because it seems that a lot of people are that. Like mine used to be words of affirmation. So I was always making sure that people felt good. And I was always words of affirmation because that was my love language as well. What are some acts of service that you love to have for you?
Well, it's a blessing and a curse with the acts of service because I really, I love to watch women and help them. And I do this in my business all the time, but then I always have, other people in business that I like to work with and help. But mentoring, really mentoring the women that I'm working with styling. And, and helping them to elevate their not only their style and fashion, but where they're headed in their lives. And in order to do that, I have to be right beside them when they're looking in the mirror and they're doing the negative self-talk and they don't even have to say it. I know what it is. So I have to affirm to them what those highlighting things are. So it starts physical. It can either be on the outside, working your way in, or it's like extracting it from the inside and really helping these women discover, authentically who they are and their beautiful uniqueness. And helping them to be okay with that. And so I would say that's my biggest gift that I give to others.
That's awesome.
But I also like to be that woman that helps them, help them give permission or helps them to give themselves permission to, really think about what they want to do, like what they want to be when they grow up. Even if they're 40, what do you want to be when you grow up? That's when I figured it out.
Yeah, I know. I'm just turned 40 and I'm like, okay, I'm now into this new thing. I've got like a business and it's doing very well. Thank goodness. I'm really appreciative of it. It's, you change. And that's what you were mentioning about the clothes as well. Like our closets, we do have to get rid of things every so many years. Number one, your body changes, your style changes, what you want, how you want to be as well. I remember when my closet was full of professional attire. I mean, literally suits and button collared, and I had, the heels. I was a realtor at that time. So, I mean, I was wearing, business casuals. And then in my music career, my music world, it's Vans, it's Converse, it's jeans, it's graphic tees, it's leather jackets. So it's completely different. And now I'm going to this other world, okay, now the wardrobe has to change again. So anyway, so I'm excited to talk about how you work with your clients and everything. So let's get into the stroke it yourself topic. And you selected yourself, which I think is really, really important. So I want you to talk to us about how you stroke yourself, whether it's daily, whether it's weekly, how do you pump yourself up and how do you wake up every day and say, I am the woman, I can do this, I rock, I'm going to take my business to the next level. Where are you getting all that confidence? Where are you getting all of that energy from? And how are you making that happen?
So I live by a way of thinking that is get up, suit up, show up. And show up every day, not only for your family, your work, or whatever, show up for yourself every single day. And I truly believe, and we talked about routines, making those habits of things that you do every single day to get your mind right and get yourself right for the day so that you can go and conquer your day, right?
Of course, right.
So tell me again, what
Yeah,
was your question?
no, that's perfect. Give me some examples of what you do prior to like when you're like, oh, I'm gonna get, dress up, show up, all that. When you're talking about those daily routines, like, are you meditating in the morning? Are you doing a workout? Are you just doing some self-talk? Are you doing affirmations? Like, what is it that you do on a daily basis that would be good for others to do as well so they can get to where the stage is that you are?
I think it really depends on the person, exactly what they need to be doing. My husband meditates every morning and swims, and that's kind of his thing. What I do, I get up and the first thing I do, I brush my teeth, but then I hop on my exercise bike. And I am my mind races all the time because I'm always thinking, what am I doing next? And what's my setup for the day? And I just need to kind of release that energy so that I can get started for my day. So then I hop in the shower, get ready. I think it's really important as a woman to be very intentional about how you get ready and really caring for yourself. Like, get up in enough time that you can do that workout, that you can go in the shower and shave your legs and wash your hair. I mean, don't wash your hair every day. It's not good for your hair. Right. But take the time to do those things. Be intentional when you're looking in the mirror and putting your makeup on. If you wear makeup, I mean, I think the most important thing is healthy skin. But if you want to highlight the features with the makeup, be looking in the mirror and saying those kind things to yourself.
Right. I think you just made a valid point too, as far as like getting up early enough to do things. Like my podcast I just recorded a couple days ago was like just a morning routine pep talk. I think it's like maybe 10 minutes. And it was all about starting to get up, whether it's 5 minutes early week 1, 10 minutes week 2, 15 minutes week 3 and 4, like 20 minutes. Because a lot of times people get up in the morning and it's like, they've got to shower really quickly. They've got to schlep their kids there. They've got to eat at this meeting, and they're catering to someone every single minute of the day. Really, that 15 to 20 minutes in the morning is the only time you maybe get for yourself. And if you don't take that time to get yourself right, your mind right, the rest of the day is going to possibly be shit. Like,
how can you possibly be successful?
You can't be
starting that way.
It's not possible. My one girlfriend, she gets up a whole hour early every single morning, and she swears, she goes, Jenny, if I do not get up that early, I'm not a good mom. I'm not a good boss. I'm not a good wife. Like, she needs that. She actually has coffee every single morning by herself in a chair, and it gives her the time to just be by herself because the rest of the day is catered to somebody else. So I think that's a really valid point. Just get up early, make that time for yourself.
And show up.
I love it.
And to that point, so we got the makeup going.
Yeah.
That's happening. Then choosing your clothes for the day. To me, preparation is everything, because how many women, many of you are going to resonate with this. How many of you walk in your closet every day and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to wear today? I have that big meeting. I have that, and I want to look powerful and show up as my best self, but I don't know what I'm wearing. So plan that the night before, first and foremost. And then don't feel, so you wake up on a Monday, because Mondays are the hardest day, right?
Yeah.
To like get up and do your routine.
Right.
On Monday, wear your best outfit.
Oh, you're like fresh for the week.
Yes, because why do we have to, why do we have to wait? Let's have fun every day.
Definitely.
And talking about this work-life balance thing, I mean, let's have fun in our work.
Right.
Let's have, let's let it all just be fluid.
I love that. Well, the preparation, like literally, I'm usually in the shower thinking, what am I going to wear? And I'm like literally going, am I wearing jeans? Because am I going to have time to shave my legs today?
Right. We all
am I going to be wearing a skirt? Do I need to put self-tanner on? Like, there's all these things that go through my brain. And so if I would just do it the night before, then I would already know. And then I could just be meditating in the shower or just saying all these words of affirmation to make myself feel good. So.
Yes, you could do that. Or you could have someone like myself that plans out all of those outfits for you. And you've got them in your little lookbook on your phone.
I love it. This is why I'm in session next week with her. Awesome. Okay, cool. So you talked about how you start the day, which is awesome. Talk about the results of you getting up and you having that mindset and that preparation. Like,
Mhm.
How has that proven to work for you in your life and got you to where you are today?
So if you really truly think about, you know, how do you feel when you put on your best outfit, you get your hair is the way you like it, your makeup's the way you want it, and you're about to walk out the door, how do you feel starting your day?
Are you looking to enhance your relationship with yourself? If so, get the Stroke It Guide. My book is available on Amazon and on my website. Not only is my book going to help you with your personal journey with yourself, but it's also going to help you with the relationships of other stakeholders in your life. For instance, your spouse or partner, your employer, your employees, your friends, or your family members. And of course, because the title, there is a chapter for your pleasure, which is the last one, in the bedroom. The book offers lots of great tools and resources. There's a lot of great downloads, and it features many of my podcast guests, and they have thousands of downloads and resources that are worth a lot of money. So you're going to want to get my book today. You can buy that on Amazon or on my website, and you can change and take ownership of your life today with one simple click.
Like, powerful.
Yeah.
It's a more powerful way to show up, right?
Right.
And so I know myself, like when I go to bed at night and I'm thinking about my next day, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna, do a good job. And when I do that presentation or I have to meet with that client, and I don't know if we all have self-doubt, right?
Right.
But when you get up and you're very intentional and spend that time to care for yourself and feel like $1,000,000 about how you look, your confidence elevates. And then you can truly draw from your authenticity and your power that you have within and your uniqueness and conquer anything. It makes life so much better and more
Right.
successful.
And this is so simple. It's so simple. Like when I
It
think
sounds simple.
I'm like, oh gosh, just get up early, just plan the outfit, wear the best
Yes.
one on Monday, and you're just gonna conquer the world.
Right.
So, but once again, it's having that mindset and that preparation. And I always talk about the 7 P's, like
Mhm.
prior planning prevents poor performance.
Yeah.
I came up with a different one, not that I can remember it off the top of my head. Or something about like prior proper planning. It has something about like positivity, peace, and prosperity, or something like that.
Right.
So it's
I
very
love
positive.
it. Yes.
But it's all in that preparation as
It
well.
is.
So, which is super and super important. We don't always do,
Mhm.
especially if you're on the fly, you're trying to run a business, build a business, and you've got kids schlepping everywhere. So,
Yes.
anyway, so okay, so we understand that we need to get up early. We need to make some time for ourselves so we can be confident and conquer the world. Let's talk about your business and how you help people, because I know
Yes.
that a lot of it comes down to those outfits, and it comes just overall how you look. Like if you
Right.
just don't like the way you look, you're not going to feel confident. You're not going to think that you could actually conquer a lot of things, or you
Yes.
may have self doubt. You may be very insecure, and then there's all that where you just don't feel like you can do it. And then if you don't
Right.
feel like you can do it, then you resent other people. Then you can't stroke other people. You can't be happy for other people, and then you
Exactly.
just go into this deep depression. And then it's just like you're not moving forward. You're not creating this life that you were meant to have. So
Right.
talk about how you're helping women create the lives they want with the confidence and going and like
Yes.
basically elevating through your business.
When when I have a woman reach out to me, and the basic type of woman that's reaching out to me is usually a female entrepreneur, like you said, family, kids, trying to balance all the things, and they're not feeling great about their body. They're lacking time. They want to have better time with their family where they're really fully present. They don't have time to shop. They hate all their clothes. I mean, there's just, there's all these things. And when I come in to help them, I'm really, they always think that I'm so like hokey weird because they think I'm going to walk in their wardrobe and I'm going to say, okay, so let's get started. I'm going to make an outfit. The very first thing that I talk to my clients about is, well, number one, I want to know a little bit about them, their lifestyle, where they go on vacation, what their job is like, all of that. But then I ask them, so tell me, what do you really want in your life? What are your hopes and dreams?
Right.
Oh, well, I'd like to get a promotion at my work. And, I really want to be there more for my family. Okay, tell me about the promotion. Why do you want that promotion? Well, I want to be successful. And then I'm no, stop. Just stop. Take a moment. Take a breath.
Right.
What do you want? And it takes me, the reason why I need extra time is because it usually will take them, about 30 minutes of me asking that same question until they finally, their body relaxes. Sometimes we have just, talk about some funny things and whatever.
Right.
And then they'll go, well, really what I truly want is to start my own business. And I want to, like with what you're doing, you're in complete alignment with who you are and your individuality. But sometimes as a woman, we don't give ourselves permission. So what I'm doing for them is giving them that permission. And then I ask them a question. So, okay, so if you're there in, owning the business that you own, what do you look like? What does it feel like? And we start talking about that. When they do that, this is just my gift to the world.
Yeah.
I imagine and I see them as they're talking. I see them in that space and having that amazing business that they want to have, whether it be public speaking and they think it's like shameful that they want to do that, And so I picture them on the stage and then I'm like, this is what they're wearing. And then I can get started.
Wow.
Because then I can help them to get to that place where we're building these outfits that they step into the outfit. And then figuratively, I guess you could say, they're then stepping into the woman that they are becoming and that they want to become. And they're going there and they're going for it. And I'm there with them through that journey to lead them.
And it's almost like you're creating a vision that they can actually believe in, which is so powerful, which is so amazing. So the women that you are working with, are you seeing them take these leaps and bounds and launch these lives that they want?
Yes, it's so rewarding. This is like so rewarding. Can I tell you a story?
Oh, please. Yes.
Okay. So I have this woman reached out to me. She had just had her first child. So, after having your first baby, you're like, who am I? I mean, after having any baby, but who am I now? And what happened to this body? Nothing's in the same place anymore. Even if you're back down to size, like the same size that you were, the clothes that you wore before don't fit right. This woman was in a very high level position, in an IT company. She did a lot of virtual. And it was after, things had opened up after COVID and she was like, oh my gosh, I have to go in person again and see these people. And they haven't seen me since I was pregnant. And what do I look like? And I'm going on this trip. She was going on a trip to DC. And she was going to be meeting with all the high level executives on the team. And she had only been seeing them on Zoom. And so she she was like, not totally fine with how she looked, but now she's got to like fully show up. So usually when a woman reaches out to me, as intimidated as they are about having someone come into that personal space, or maybe they don't feel worth having someone do that with them. By the time they call me, they've gone back and forth in their head so many times and they've had such a breakdown that they're desperate and they really need someone to be there for them. And so I went in and nothing in her closet fit her. And she was just wearing her sweatpants every day. And so she'd put on like a top. So, from the bottom, brought her like 2 racks filled with clothes. And we did a whole session of, I taught her how to dress professionally, but not stuffy. She was a young girl. I mean, she was like, I don't know, she was maybe 30, just 30. And put together these outfits for her that she felt fabulous in. And I love watching that transformation.
Oh, of course.
Obviously she's going through a transition in her life. She's putting on these clothes, looking in the mirror. And as I'm there, like her shoulders are back. She's looking in the mirror. She's feeling herself. She's like, yeah, take a picture of me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I send her on her way. She calls me again in 2 months. 2 months after, I'm going on another trip. I wore all the outfits. I need more. I go back and I asked her, what was it like when you
Yeah.
went? And she said, oh my gosh, Jessica. She said, my direct report, I don't know, she was VP of the company. I don't know.
Right.
She said, we need to get you in the next position. She said, I had no idea. She said, I barely had spoke any words, but she looked me up and down. She told me I looked like I owned the company. And she said, you know what? We need to get you out, not just on Zoom. You need to be out talking with clients and speaking.
Wow.
And this is a girl that had been like
She's
hiding
sure
behind her camera.
Yeah. I'll tell you that COVID did that to a lot of people. It sent a lot of people down the pipe, like depression, and then obviously you just didn't wear anything for like ever. So
Right.
that's amazing. Well, kudos to her. Kudos to you. That
Yeah.
is so awesome. I love sharing the success story as well.
Yes.
So, and that's great that you were able to encourage her and inspire her and help her believe that she was capable, you
Yeah.
know, and I think that's really, really important. And when you think of your friends or your family or your coworkers, like, oh, you need someone to believe in you and to encourage you and to push you. And I know that some of the other guests that I'm going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about friends and how they do that for each other. And it's so important because sometimes you think that you can do it, but you need someone to tell you that you can do it before you start believing it, which is kind of sad, but
it's true.
you need a cheerleader.
You do. You need someone in your corner. And I mean, I truly believe that, you are who you surround yourself with.
Right.
And so we get in that place of like, we think we have friends, we think we have the right people, but really they're pulling us. They're not, where we are lifting us up. There's the comparing and all of that.
Right.
But I think it's very difficult to break that cycle once you're in it.
I think so too. And I think a lot of times we're afraid to go certain places and do certain things because we do have those people that are telling us we can't do it or we're not going to do it. When I was starting my company, even before starting my company, I was talking about it. I knew one day I was going to do it. I knew one day, I just didn't know when.
Right.
And for years, I mean, I talked about it for like 7 years before I actually started my company.
Yeah.
And I had people say, stop talking about it. Like, you're never going to do it or whatever. And then and I did it. And I'm like, oh, you actually did it. And I said, yeah, I'm sorry you believed in me back then. But yes, sign me up for the membership, please.
Yes.
Anyway, so it's always good to have those cheerleaders and have those people that believe in yourself so that you can see like, yeah, I can. Like, I know that I have to tell myself a lot of times, a lot of positive chatter because there's so much negative chatter. And even people that are confident, like I'm a really confident person. Like I have been high on my own kite for years. I was just naturally, my parents brought me up to be a really confident and outspoken person. But there are times where I'm not confident. And I doubt myself and I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I can do it. And then there's fear that sets in to where I don't do certain things or it takes me longer. So having someone like you or having someone to like say, you can do it. Yeah. What did you say? Dress up, show up?
Get up, suit up, and show up.
Okay. Yeah. I love that. I got to make sure that I remember that. So, cool. Well, I love that you're helping women. I think that what you had said earlier too, you're helping them on the inside, you're helping them on the outside. So you're doing like total transformation, which is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And we need women like you. Like there's a lot, when you think about women too, there's not a lot of nice women. And there's not a lot of women that want to cheer on other women. I mean, I feel like we found that through like the No Tribe. And I found a lot of women through there that are on the same path and they're wanting to elevate and they're wanting to uplift. And what I joined that organization, number one, is because I was just starting to get to a certain level. But I wanted to be surrounded by all the women that were above me.
Yeah, you want to know people that are better than you.
Come on, girl, this is how you do it. And having that, which has been a really beautiful thing as well. And it's new to me because I have always been surrounded by women that maybe thought I couldn't do things or that were afraid to go do their own thing. So they didn't understand having a passion and having fear and things like that. And they're still stuck doing the same thing that they were doing forever ago. So I think it's wonderful that what you're doing. And I just love it. And I'm excited to have a session with you. So, okay, perfect. So we want to talk about uniqueness because I think a lot of people don't really know that they're unique in their own ways. And I think it's really, really important. So let's talk about uniqueness and like your thought process on that. And, whether it's confidence building or saving time or whatever that would be.
Yeah. So Can I tell another story?
Yes.
I tell a story to get to the.
Yeah, no. I think stories are great because at the end of the day, we want to give examples. We want to
Yes.
share stories. People can connect with stories.
Mhm.
There may be someone that's listening that feels the exact same way of the client
Yeah.
as well. So that will help us.
Can I talk about my story?
Yeah.
Because it ties in.
Totally.
Or are we going there after?
No, let's go there now.
Okay, because it totally ties in with what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, uniqueness. So I think my whole belief system is that as young girls, when you're a child, we have no preconceived ideas about who we should be and what it means to be a woman. And so we just don't do those negative things to ourselves that we do later on, right?
Yes.
So I think back, this is what really got me to take that leap of faith and really believe that I could be my best self and do something better, because I thought, why not me?
Right.
Other people, I've seen other people do that. Why not me? I know they're like in the 1% of 1%, but I had to go back and think about when I was a child without all those preconceived ideas, before my mother told me I had to be a certain way.
Right. I know.
What did I love?
Right.
And I loved fashion from the time I was probably out of the womb. And it was interesting because the way that I grew up is so opposite of what you would think, because my family lived off the land. We had no electricity, no running water. We had an outhouse. I mean, like crazy, off the charts crazy.
So crazy.
I know that I came from that, but I was never that. I mean, I even have memories of, I know this sounds very young, I was 3 years old, 4 years old, and I would go in my closet every day, and I had to pick from all the clothes that my mom got me from Salvation Army and try to make them look good. And so I was an only child at that age with my parents. And so I needed to entertain myself as well.
Right.
And so I would try on these clothes and make these outfits and look in my mirror and pretend and imagine and think about being at a party and what I felt like in my outfit. And I had this whole imaginary world in my head.
Right.
And that was my joy. That was my happy place. That's when I really felt good about myself. And I grew up in a family, there was abuse. It wasn't good.
Okay.
It wasn't good. And so that was my escape. But it was my love and my passion.
Right.
Then as I got older, you forget about that and what should I be doing? And, I did stay in fashion, as far as like working in retail and all of that. But then, I went to college and I didn't know what I wanted. I was in for fine arts and, and then I went and worked for other people and never, as I got older, having a family, and then you think about you have to, make sure your kids are good and you got a husband and all these things. And not that I lost myself completely, but I had to give myself the permission
to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And stay true to yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I got to that point where I was like, why not me? And so I would take my time, and I knew there was something better. Because as a child, sorry, I'm going back a little bit, but as a child, when I was in that space of the abuse going on around me, there was something within me, and you can call it God, you can call it whatever you want to call it, the universe, something I knew had me.
Okay.
I knew I was going to be okay. And I had a fire in me. I've always been that person, that resilient. I had the resilience, but I also, it was probably partially to do with my imagination. I knew I was going to be okay.
Right.
And when I was at that place in my life, 40 years old, I know there's something better. I felt that fire in me again. Like you were
working for someone else at that point.
While I was working for somebody
so you're
else.
working for someone else and you have this fire at 40 and you're like, I can do something.
But what is it? And on the side, my side hustle was going to these women's homes that I was helping in the boutique that I was working in.
Okay.
And help them there and then bring them back to the store. Because they wanted me, they would ask me, come to my house, come do this.
Right.
And so I had to think back to my childhood and what made me feel good. And that really I was doing for these women what I had been doing for myself at like 3 and 4 years old.
Oh my God.
How can I make a business out of it?
Yeah.
I love it. Following your passion, finding your
Yes.
passion and making it work and making that your career.
Yes.
Not a job, as my dad would say. The job is just over broke. You need to make a career, honey. And I was like, yes. And so it's coming full circle.
Full circle. So I am living out my dream, my passion. Um, and then I get to watch the evolution and the transformation happen with the women that I help. And it propels me forward and it gets me out of my own way,
Yeah.
and that goes back to really what you're teaching people about stroke it, like
Right.
stroking them, because get over yourself.
Right.
We all have issues. The biggest thing that I heard that pushed me just that little bit of extra was Tony Robbins.
I love Tony Robbins.
So because I have all my different things. Like
Right.
I listen to Tony when I need to be pumped up.
Right.
And then I listen to Abraham Hicks, who I don't know if you've listened
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
If
Do the
I-
whole listening, the whole
and I
focus
gotta,
feel, the whole
Yes, got to
yeah.
get in there, get in the
Right.
vortex. you know?
Right. Yeah.
But Tony said, and this is when I had not made the full decision yet to go all in with my business. He was talking about, having that fear about starting something and,
Right.
and really following your passion and all that because you don't think you're going to be successful at it.
Because you were told as a child that you won't be, and that's
Yes.
not going to make money. You can't do what you're passionate
Yes.
about, which I want to talk about in a couple minutes. But keep
Yes.
talking to me about Tony.
Yes. So Tony said, and I'm thinking in my head, yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, I want to do that. I'm scared. Why should I do it?
Right.
And so then he answers my question and he says, think about it this way. How selfish is it that you're not going to do something that is your gift to the world because you don't think you can do it? What do you think that does to all the people that could benefit from the gift? You're letting them down and not allowing them to have the experiences that they need to get to where they need to go.
Right.
Like, get over yourself.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, Tony, you're talking to me.
You're like, I'm starting tomorrow. See you later.
Yeah.
2 weeks. I'm going to go start my own place. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so true about the whole passion. Like I always talk to my husband about this. Like, find what you're passionate about and make that your career, make that your life. And I just think that when you're guided by passion, you're just going to be naturally happy. And I think the day that we all want to be happy. We want to be happy with ourselves. We want to be happy with our life. We want to be happy for other people. And there are so many people that I know, and parents are even doing this to their kids today, where they aren't allowing them to just whatever they're passionate about, make that a career. Like I know a lot of people that wanted to be artists. My husband wanted to be a journalist. And they're like, no, you're not going to make any money being a journalist.
Right.
And he's a beautiful writer. His mom will definitely say, oh, he was a great writer. I'm like, why don't you foster that?
Yeah.
They had something else in mind for him. And just like a lot of kids, I started this other little program called Level Up, where I was teaching kids to be entrepreneurs and having them like develop business plans based on their passion. The business plans these kids came up with were fantastic, but I had parents who were like, we're not sending our child back to you. And I was like, why not? Like, because they're going to be a doctor, they're going to this college. You're basically telling them not to go to college. I'm not saying not to go to college. I'm going and saying, find what you're passionate about and work that. And maybe they can start that business while they're in high school. How would it be, or how cool would it be if your child started a business in high school to where they were able to pay for their own college, or they were able to buy a house in the college town they were going to live in, and you would be paying dorms. And it would be paid. So it's allowing people to just have the freedom to say, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But that comes back to confidence, because a lot of people are not confident to say, no, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And fear, obviously, is a big factor.
I know we're talking about me, but I have to say something about what you just said, because I think that and I knew that you were doing that with children. I just think that is the most incredible act of service that you could do for the society, is those kids, because they're still curious.
They are,
and the passion is still there, and they can imagine it, and the light hasn't been pushed out.
Right.
And I love that.
They're still in that creative stage where they're still a kid, kind of where you were in your room looking and dressing up. The business plans they had were amazing. One of them had adopt a pet business, and that's where there was basically a shelter for animals. You would send the animals would go to the shelter, and you could adopt it for 1 day or 7 days or 3 weeks. So it was a way for the family to test having a pet in their home and seeing if the kids would take the responsibility
That's
to feed them.
amazing.
And then if they didn't do what they said they were going to do, they could return it back to the shelter. But then if they did, then they could adopt it. It was like the most, I
I
mean,
love
that's just
that.
one business plan of these
Yeah,
little minds.
that's
So
incredible.
for those that are listening, follow your
Yes.
passion, find it, make it your career, believe in yourself, be confident. And if you need a great stylist, call Jessica as well. So we'll have your website, everything in the show notes as well. Did you want to share any last advice for anybody that is, entering a stage in their life where they may need you? Do you have any advice or anything or a tip that you could share with them?
I would just suggest, and anyone here can go on my website. I know it'll pop up or whatever.
You can say it too. Say what your website is.
It's probably going to change. We're changing business models here, but for the time being, it's www.customizedstylingbyjessica.com, and fill out a form submission on there, and I will get back to you. I do a free call before anything.
Okay.
So I use that call as a time to get to know who the person is, what their needs are. They get to know me.
Okay.
And then they share a little bit about themselves, and we determine if it's the right fit.
Okay.
I may not be the right fit for just everybody.
Yeah.
But it really truly is not just about clothes. It's about authentic styling.
Okay. So that would be your tip, maybe, is to be authentic, be true to you.
Yes. And give yourself permission, and you are worth it. You are worth that investment, because, and I'm learning this in my business, sometimes you really need to make the investment in order to get to that next.
You do. Having an investment in yourself. And that's where I think a lot of times people fail to do things for themselves because they're afraid to invest.
Yes.
And I know a lot of parents that they're like, oh, I got to pay for this and I got to pay for this. I'm like, you can't pay $100 a month for yourself to be part of a class or do a tennis lesson or do something to where you're better for yourself, so you're better for your family. Like, they're afraid to make that investment, and I think that you have to make that investment, and you are an investment as well. Like, I'm just thinking, when I come next week, I'm going to be making an investment myself. And I'm like, okay, but this is what you want. This is what you need. And I don't have college tuition to pay for, so I can invest all the money myself.
And the other thing I would like to say to mothers, I want to speak directly to mothers here, because there is something that moms do to themselves where they think they have to always put their children first. And I was there. I mean, I did it when the kids were young. I'm not going to get myself something. I'm not going to, I'm not going to do whatever because it's going to affect the kids in a negative way. I won't give to them, and doing to myself. I'm selfish. Keep in mind that your children are watching you.
Yes.
And I can tell you this from experience. And I could tell a story right now, but I won't, because I know we have to wrap up. We'll do it in the next go around. But your children are watching you, and do show your children that they are worth it by you showing yourself that you are worth it.
And creating healthy habits for yourself and making those investments. Yeah, I think that's true. Well, cheers to you. Cheers to us.
Jenny.
Cheers to all of you. And thanks for stroking it with us.
Thank you for tuning into the Stroke It podcast. I hope you were inspired. I hope you're willing and ready to take some action. I want to encourage you to consider 5 people that could benefit from today's podcast. Super simple to share this episode. You never know who could benefit from hearing this podcast and how you could inspire them to create the change in the life that they're wanting. Cheers, and thank you so much for tuning in. Also, consider giving a review.